And now, our feature presentation.
To infinity and beyond!
The name's Bond. James Bond.
That'll do, Pig.
Bad boys, what you gonna do?
Show you with the box. Who's in the box?
Damn! Ew! Get off of me! Ugh, I'm ill.
A lot of people go to college for 7 years.
I know. They're called doctors.
Houston, we have a problem.
That'll do, Ryan. That'll do. Welcome in, everybody, to 52/1995, your live movie conversation podcast, where we dive deep into the movies of 1995. I am your host, Cody, and I'm thrilled to be joined this week by my fantastic co-host, Ryan. For those tuning in for the first time, we're so glad that you're here. Every week, 52 of them to be exact, we explore a different film from 1995, whether it's a classic hit, a quirky gem, or something, I don't know, Babe-like. We'll dive into this year's important releases, discuss them in detail, and then chat with my guest about their thoughts, experiences with the movie, and then we'll see what they've been watching. And hopefully they've got some good recommendations. Our current theme, as we do these kind of on a monthly theme, is And the Oscar Goes To, where each film was nominated for Best Picture at the 1996 Academy Award. Today's movie of choice is Babe. So before we jump into this week's movie, let's welcome in Ryan again. Well, Ryan, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Have you seen the movie that we're talking about today?
I have seen it. I don't know when the last time was. I must have been a kid. I don't think I've seen it as an adult.
Yeah.
But everybody's seen this movie, right?
I mean, I hope so. I mean, or maybe I don't hope so, but yeah, I think it's definitely an important movie. I feel like it's like one of the first children's movies that felt I mean, we get Toy Story later this year, but I do feel like it's a children's movie that is not like specifically for children. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
A little bit. I definitely am trying to think of, I'm sure if we thought about it, we could come up with examples, but a non-Disney or animated children's movie that is timeless from our childhood.
Yes. Okay.
You know, a 90s children's film that is 90s, not 80s, not Goonies and stuff like that, but like a 90s children's film that is timeless, other than, you know, Disney, and then probably late 90s, some like DreamWorks stuff too.
Yeah, because there's a lot of movies coming out like this. I mean, last year we had an entire section. I don't even remember. We didn't do it. We didn't talk about it, but we had a whole section just about like children's movies that were, you know, animal facing. We had Free Willy was big and popular during this time. And this is a little bit different. There's even a competing pig movie that I'll briefly touch on here in a second, that comes out, I think, in 95. We're not discussing it this year because it's not a good movie and, you know, whatever, but it's Gordy. If you've never seen Gordy, which is a Disney movie. And it is about I think it's about a talking pig, but not in the same way that Babe is. And Babe has this world. It's like a little Animal Farm, but a lot like something sweeter. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Evie White is a great one. And we do have that, you know, Charlotte's Web from earlier with Evie White and the cartoon version of that.
To my point, like I think of things from our childhood. This can never. The visual effects feel dated, but the setting and the world never feels dated because it is kind of a fantasy setting.
Yes, I never know where it is. We've got Americans in here. It feels British and ends up being filmed all in New Zealand or Australia.
That's what I think,
yeah. And it does feel it feels out of time. Some fantasy land.
This probably makes it age better than Free Willy.
Yeah.
If you now they might love Free Willy. I'm not saying they wouldn't, but that feels like, oh, those are 90s kids, those are 90s people, 90s clothes, and like 90s streets and 90s buildings. So.
Yeah, I was watching it with Alyssa, and she was like, what time frame is this? It feels like 20s or 30s. And I was like, well, there's a fax machine in the that they talk about at Christmas. Yeah. So
That does date it, yeah.
A little bit, but I mean, it's still a fun thing for this movie. And this movie has a magical feel to it. There are some animals that are more cognizant than others. Like, I don't know if every animal talks in this. I think there are stupider animals. But
there's a lot of talk about the intelligence hierarchy of different farm animals.
Yes.
A lot of conversation about that.
So, did you like this movie when you grew up? Like do you remember watching it as a kid?
Well, that was the thing I was going to say is I think I liked it. I didn't like animal movies when I was a kid, and I don't care for them now, really.
Right.
I mean, certainly like things like Lion King don't count, right? I love stuff like that, but I kind of hated as a kid when I was kind of being fed content that was the talking monkeys, talking dogs, or especially when real animals were involved. This I think I would have liked better, but I don't think I loved it. And then it's kind of grown. So it was an interesting rewatch because it has grown in legacy a lot. So I've had 1,000 small conversations about Babe and being like, yeah, great movie, man. Wonderful movie. Everybody loves Babe. It's such a good movie. Or I've read things on like movie blogs or mentions about how awesome it is. And so I just kind of went along with that and being like, I remember liking it much. So it was kind of good to rewatch it and see with like somewhat fresh eyes if I thought it was that good.
Yeah, I think I was on that train of loving this movie. I think I overhyped this movie a little bit, so kind of on the opposite side. When I was a kid, I really enjoyed this movie. I have the VHS playing behind me. That is mine VHS. And then going into college, I had it on VHS. I had this movie on DVD. I had this movie on Blu-ray. Like I had every version of this movie. And I think it was like my special thing to talk about whenever people were talking about, like you get in a conversation with somebody that's a film bro or whatever it is. And I'm like, I like Babe. It was nominated. And they're like, Babe sucks. And I was like, it's nominated for Best Picture. So
well, I do
screw
think
you.
Like, there are like, as a film nerd, there are these like memified opinions, that become like, kind of flashpoints of discussion. And I think one of the reasons Babe has grown or maintained such a great legacy, I think one of the reasons is because it deserves it. I think another reason is that it's fun if you're a movie snob to be able to genuinely like Babe. And I say that as like a snob about other things too. Like I get really excited as a grumpy person who has to bite my tongue to not shit on the thing everybody loves when I love the thing everybody loves. And like, very lame things like Harry Potter and Hamilton, I'm a big fan of, right? But that makes me excited in a secondary way because I get to like be in on it and not the killjoy anymore.
Yeah.
So to be like a film nerd and to love movies a lot and to be around people and they go, oh man, Babe was a great movie. I'm like, yeah, Babe was a great movie.
Babe was a great movie. Yeah. Great movie. That is kind of dark and kind of fun and gets really fucking dark. Like at times, like it's interesting.
This is an era. This feels lame to say because I feel like it gets said a little too much, but I think it's very true that we got to grow up still with children's content that was dark, and darkness was good in children's content, and I think was good for us. I don't have a list of examples off the top of my head, but there's a lot of them. I mean, Land Before Time, stuff like that.
Any of the Don Bluth stuff, man. Like all
Don
of that
Bluth stuff. Yeah, it's heartbreaking, and to be able to like talk about death, fear death, to see characters go through loss, lose family members, it's kind of stuff that we don't see near as much anymore. And I don't know. I think the kids will be fine. I think the kids will be better than we are. But like, they don't have that kind of teaching tool like we did. And so I had nostalgia for that when I was watching Babe, where I was like, oh yeah, like there's gonna be talk about some real stuff here.
And I guess like we talk about Don Bluth. You and I love Don Bluth. We've talked about him in many conversations. I guess Pixar kind of picks it up and starts with their topics, like not playing down or using toys or using bugs or monsters under your bed, to tell these really profound stories that are probably the Don Bluth stories of their time.
Stories that are as human as they are for kids.
Yeah.
And those are two different things, but you can tell a kid's movie that's also deeply human. And I think Babe does that.
Yeah. And just to keep going with that, like, I do think that those places or those kinds of movies still exist. I do think that there are more animated movies than there are like real life movies like this. I don't feel, we've talked about this before too. I don't feel like there is like a family film, like there is a good family film industry anymore.
Yeah, it's a genre where the parents are supposed to enjoy themselves as well.
Yeah, so
There's well-made kids movies.
Yeah,
and I think they've gotten a little better at. The whole industry has gotten better at writing jokes that are interesting to parents, but that's about it.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of pandering there and just like fart jokes and whatever and those things. But there are some movies that come out. In recent years, there was a Judy Blume movie that came out. Oh, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret came out and is well beloved. Yeah. So there was even talk of it getting some acting nominations in it. I think that was last year or the year before. But it's supposed to, be pretty good. There's just not enough of them. And just like all the other movies that we talk about in 95, unless it's like a big action piece or some big, I don't know, war movie or something like that, these movies aren't getting made. And that's one of the things I like doing about this is seeing these movies, these $40 million movies, $30 million movies. And
it's one of the more interesting things to look back on because there's something better about looking about how we treated kids entertainment 30 years ago. That's kind of somehow deeper and more interesting than how we treated action movies 30 years ago.
Yeah,
that reflects a lot more cultural shift than anything else, I think. Just real quick, we should move on. I have to make, I don't know how much I've done in this podcast, but an obligatory plug for Puss in Boots 2: The Last Wish. Otherwise known as Shrek 6. It made me cry once when I watched it once, and then it made me cry 2 other times when I was explaining the plot to people in bars. So if you do want some deep emotion, I think people slept on Puss in Boots 2. It was pretty great.
Yeah, no,
it's all about death. It's all about being scared of death.
Well, and I think about I have a couple of these kinds of movies in my pairings that we'll get to eventually, but they do exist. And movies like Wonka, which is a children's movie that I found very delightful and was like kind of it's kind of embarrassing to recommend that to people where I'm like, hey, have you seen Wonka? It's actually really good. Like I always have to say it's actually pretty good. Like
I watched Wonka because of you, and I have bullied about half a dozen, and I don't bully people into watching movies. I bullied about half a dozen people into watching it because you told me how good it was, and then I watched it and thought it was good. So we're being the Wonka street team, getting people to come back to it.
Timmy Chalamet owes us some drinks or something.
Yeah, he's got enough money.
Yeah, he's fine. All right, so let's get into this and let's talk about this. We're talking about Babe. This movie came out on August 4th, one day after my birthday, 1995.
Yeah, save it for the trivia section, Cody.
This movie was directed supposedly by Chris Noonan. It was written by Chris Noonan and George Miller. George Miller of Mad Max fame is probably what he's best known for, other than Babe and Babe Pig in the City, which he takes full control of it. This is also based on the Dick King Smith children's novel called The Sheep Pig. I did not read the novel. Did you read the novel in preparation?
No.
Okay. Me neither. I was surprised when it said it was a novel. I thought it was always just like a picture book kind of thing, but it's.
I think it is like a
children's novel, like a Charlotte's Web or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
This cast doesn't have very many human elements to it, but I will give you a couple of the highlights. James Cromwell is in here as Arthur Hoggett, Magda Szubanski as Esme Hoggett. That's where I'll stop with the humans. Christine Cavanaugh plays the voice of Babe. You might recognize her voice if you were sitting there being like, I've heard this voice before. That's the voice of Chucky or Gosling Mallard from Darkwing Duck, or even Dexter from Dexter's Laboratory. Sadly, she's passed away, but she is the voice of, our child. One of the voices of our childhood, probably goes along with E.G. Daly as one of the most recognizable voices for our childhood. Danny Mann plays Ferdinand. Miriam Margolis plays Fly. Hugo Weaving as Rex. Miriam Flynn as Ma. Russie Taylor as Duchess. And I thought this was a very important voice. The narrator, Roscoe Lee Brown. I loved his voice.
Oh, he's so good.
It was such a good voice. It's great. The synopsis for this movie: gentle farmer Arthur Hoggett wins a piglet named Babe at a county fair, narrowly escaping his fate as Christmas dinner when Farmer Hoggett decides to show him at the next fair. Babe bonds with motherly border collie Fly and discovers that he too can herd sheep. But will the other farm animals, including Fly's jealous husband, Rex, accept a pig who doesn't conform to the farm social hierarchy? This movie had a budget of $30 million and it made $62 million. Rotten Tomatoes score on this, 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, so pretty high. IMDb has it at a 6.9 and Letterboxd gave it a 3.4. Roger Ebert, I cut out a big portion of Roger Ebert's thing because I wanted to read the whole thing. It says, Babe is a movie made with charm and wit, and unlike some family movies, it does not condescend, not for a second. It believes it is okay to use words a child might know and to have performances that are the best available. James Cromwell as the farmer and Magda Szubanski as his wife are always convincing. And instead of the usual contrived melodrama of most kids' pictures, this one develops a story that depends on the character and upbringing of the animals involved. It knows things and teaches lessons. It is so well made that adults will find it entertaining too, maybe more than some kids because they'll see the invention that went into it. Note, he has a side note, do not under any circumstance confuse this movie with Gordy, another movie about a little pig. Babe is the one to see. Babe, not Gordy. 3 out of 4 stars.
Awesome.
Babe, not Gordy. I struggled to find some negative reviews, especially like top critics of the time. So I just went to Letterboxd and found a 5-star review. Username Flinko Gorbs on Letterboxd.
Oh no.
Said, I don't know why people made me watch so many fucking children's movies. Fucking hate this shit. Always did.
That's a well-constructed review. I get it. He kind of spoils it right in the beginning. People are forcing him to watch kids' movies. And that's not cool. I'd probably react that way to Babe if I was being forced to watch it.
It feels like he's in like some kind of Clockwork Orange situation where somebody's like forcing him to watch children's movies with his eye. This movie's legacy, pretty good. 7 Academy Award nominations. So this wasn't like a fluke or something that wasn't going to be recognized. Like they just threw in Babe as a Best Picture nominee. It was, across some different categories here. Best Picture, Best Director, Best Supporting Actor, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Art Direction, Best Film Editing, and Best Visual Effects, which it won that year. And then
I have a quick addition from the reviews because this is so legendary to me. This is something I engaged with more than I've engaged with the movie Babe over the past 20 years. Is what I say every time that Babe is mentioned is that it's the Citizen Kane of talking pig movies. And I knew that was a real quote, and it took me way too long to like Google that and find out who actually said that, because it's been said a million times that it's the Citizen Kane of talking pig movies. But it was Dan Geyer with the Chicago Daily Herald. I finally figured it out. But that is constantly that's the second thing I think after somebody says Babe.
The Citizen Kane of talking pig movies. So what does that make the sequel to this movie, Babe, Pig in the City, which I haven't watched since 97 or whenever it came out. But people often say that this is like better. Yeah, Babe, Pig in the City is actually better and darker. And so I don't know. People just love that movie.
Yeah, I don't know. You're right, though. But this is what I was talking about with like I know all these things about Babe, and I haven't seen it since I was a small child. So like these like memey opinions kind of happen around a movie like this that gets like talked about, or something that's unique. Will be like, yep, Babe's amazing. Everybody knows it's the Citizen Kane of talking pig movies, but the sequel's darker, but it's maybe even better if you really know what you're talking about. Like I know all those things about Babe without having to live them.
Does Babe have a really long tracking shot in the beginning of it that Babe, Pig in the City, that it's Touch of Evil? I love Touch of Evil. Anyway, let's talk about this a little bit more. I think there was a video game that came out of Babe, which I think it came out like years later.
I saw that. I wish I had time to look up some gameplay.
The Babe video game on the PS2.
PlayStation 2, every IP in existence had a PlayStation 2 game.
2006 is when this movie came out. And I mean, the first thing I see when I typed in Babe video game is on Reddit, on PS2's subreddit. Worst game ever on PS2?
Nice.
Maybe. Who knows? Anyway.
It's probably as good as the Citizen Kane game on PS2.
I'd play the heck out of that.
Press X to Rosebud.
I hope it's just ski free with young Rosebud. And then Orson Welles eats you and
he's the abominable snowman for sure.
All right, let's talk about this movie a little bit more. What are some of the standout scenes that make this film memorable?
Oh, what are they, huh?
What are they, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess the first important one. I mean, well, they got to meet. The two main characters got to meet.
Yeah,
so, Babe's little piglet who's being given away if somebody can guess the weight right. And he stops crying as soon as Farmer Hoggett shows up. And Farmer Hoggett correctly guesses the weight, and Destiny has put them both on a special track.
I love that line though from the narrator.
Mm-hmm.
The pig and the farmer regarded each other, and for a fleeting moment, something passed between them, a faint sense of some common destiny.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
It's really good. It's well written.
After he gets peed on.
Mm.
So Farmer Hoggett guesses the weight. He takes home this pig. I love his reaction to winning the pig. He gets the call at home, and he's like, "Oh, like, oh." Hmm? Yeah.
Well, I will say before a specific scene, there's so much that like gets set up here, and I mean, first you're gonna like as an audience member, you're gonna see the animatronics, and you're gonna hear animal voices. But a lot of things that are really important to this is you see warm colors that make this movie very good. You get the voiceover, you get classical music throughout this,
Mm-hmm.
and you get some like kind of intelligent like cinematography. And so all of those things make this not Gordy, right? Those are the things that make like Babe worth talking about in 2025 and Gordy not. So there's so much good setup of tone in the beginning, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Of what it's gonna be like.
Again, I can't put enough emphasis on the narrator because I think oftentimes people talk about voiceover or narration, like taking away. I think it's the only way this movie. Like, I think you can make this movie, but it does. It adds to the warmth of the movie. You feel like you're being read a story. And,
right. And voiceover gets beat up too much. I mean, I think it was just too many people trying to be Goodfellas for 20 years.
Yeah.
That makes voiceover kind of cringe. But yeah, for a kid's movie, for this kind of movie, a fairy tale, to have this like kind of voice of God that is a little more eloquent than everybody involved to give you the sense that you're in a special place in a special world where special things are going to happen. I think it's entirely appropriate. It adds a lot to this movie.
Yeah, and it breaks up, and it breaks up the sections. It gives you a nice like, all right, like we could talk about the scenes. We can talk about the heist. We could talk about Sheep Pig, like the way things are, the way things are. It's
the only character that's allowed to have eloquence too.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't talk about anything about the movie or any of the themes or the feelings going on because Babe and the animals don't have the vocabulary. The farmer doesn't use very many words, and then and the wife is doing her things, right? So to have the narrator come in and be able to say things about what's happening, what people are feeling, and why that's important to them is both good for kids, but it just also makes the story work.
Do you think this is? I didn't look up this trivia. Do you think this is the least amount of words spoken by an Oscar nominee? And I'm not counting like Marlee Matlin. I'm not counting the guy from Coda. They are speaking.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. I know it's like only 61 words. And we'll get the trivia later, but I'll spoil one of them. That's James Cromwell didn't want to take it because it was only 61 words or something like that, 17 lines. And then only found out after the movie was made that it was the longest he'd ever been on screen in a movie. So it was
crazy.
Yeah, it was the longest screen time he ever had, just like the littlest dialogue.
It's crazy. No, I love the introduction to Babe. I love little Babe with his little toupee on.
Oh yeah, and what was her name? Yeah, his little toupee is pretty great. Yeah, the Christine Cavanaugh. Her voice also is just killing it in this movie.
Yeah.
Obviously she's great at everything she does, but Babe could have had 1,000 voices, and I'm glad that it was her doing that voice because every
Yeah.
line is so precious and melting the way that Babe speaks.
There's a part in my first scene that I listed was the heist, and that's where Ferdinand, the duck, tries to get Babe in on this thing to steal the alarm clock, the rooster that keeps taking his job or whatever. And Ferdinand says something to Babe about humans eat ducks, and the way that Christine Cavanaugh delivers the line, she's like, "Oh no, not the boss, not the boss's wife."
Yeah.
I love that little section there. It's so cute, adorable.
There's really good emotion, fear, and sweetness in the way Babe speaks, and has a lot of just little lines. Because Babe's also kind of a straight character, like he's just reacting to everything around him for a big part of the movie.
I also love that. Jesus. I also love that Babe doesn't grow up like a normal pig would over this time frame. I think that's, I mean, for a point, you don't want a big pig because people care less about big pigs.
That's true.
They like little pigs.
Yeah, that's other trivia, but yeah, they used many pigs in making this movie because that type of pig, whatever it's called, like the great white pig or something.
I actually raised these kinds of pigs growing up.
Yeah.
Right, Yorkshires. That's what they're really called. FFA and 4-H. Get it right or pay the price. Yeah, so the heist is the first scene that I have. Ferdinand, who is this fast-talking duck that doesn't want to be a duck because he's going to get killed if he stays a duck, wants to be the rooster, and plans this whole thing, and there's a cat involved, and they try not to trip up the cat. There's paint everywhere. This is the first.
Ferdinand is wonderful. He's so funny. And he's got like real emotion. He's got a real arc. It's also, I mean, it's not like genius screenwriting, but it's also more clever than a lot of kids' movies get. Just to have Ferdinand's journey mirror Babe's journey later in the movie as an animal that wants to act not like constantly in this movie. Animals are being told, this is what you do as an animal. This is what you're for. Don't break the rules. Stay where you belong. Do your job. Whether it's to be eaten or, whatever it is, that's what you do. And then Ferdinand we meet is kind of an outcast, but the first funny, cool person kind of in his own goofy way. And he wants to be a rooster, not a duck, because he doesn't want to get eaten. And then we also find out later on that Babe might get eaten, and he wants to be an animal that's not a pig in a certain way. So I think that's pretty smart. But also Ferdinand's just very fun.
Also the cat. What did you think of the cat?
The cat was funny later. It was kind of annoying. It's an unlikable character.
Yeah, and I do love though that during the narration they make a point to be like, "Hey, all cats are great. We love cats. This cat's a bitch." Yeah,
right. That must have been because it's such a silly thing for there to be a narration about. It must have been a conversation where they're like, "Well, we're kind of making all these animals cool. I like cats. Why are we making the cat such a jerk? And maybe kids will think cats are bad." And they're like, "Well, I don't know. What do we just say that this one's bad?"
Just this one. This one's the only one that's bad. So I do appreciate that. I'm not, I'm allergic to cats, but and I never liked my house cat growing up. But yeah, love to cats. Yeah.
Love to cats, absolutely.
What other scenes do you have?
The next important scene. I mean, you just jump all the way to him learning about shepherding, right?
Yes, well, the first one I had was the crazy, like when Babe finds out that these guys are just stealing sheep.
Yes, I had like sheep rustlers, and then after that, like that leads into him learning about shepherding
sheep. Yeah. They also never explain, like, why does Babe separate does he want to be a sheepdog, and that's what he's trying to do when he's like outside the window and he separates the brown chickens to the white chickens?
So he's already learned about sheepdogging. Shepping? Yeah, he's already learned about shepherding at that point. So I it's hard to know because that one scene makes it seem like, oh no, this pig's just got a gift. I mean, I guess he kind of does, but like it's so accidental. He can't help but shepherd. It's like born into him. Whereas the rest of the movie makes it seem like he just wants to, and it'd be cool. He thinks it's neat.
Oh God!
And he wants to have a purpose. That is another thematic thing they say early on. Like, and then I think a narration was, oh, he like met everybody, and then he realized everybody has their place because he was told everybody has their place, and now he just has to find his. And he doesn't know yet that his place is to be fattened up and eaten. So he's just trying to say, well, what else is everybody doing? Maybe I could do one of those jobs. And then I think he falls in love with shepping. But then I don't know. The rooster little chicken scene makes it seem like it was an accident that he did that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a weird part in there that I always remember. But then watching it further this time, I was just like, what's going like?
Yeah.
Is that part of this? Is he showing off for the boss? Not the boss. Not the boss's wife.
Not the boss.
Not the boss. Not the boss's wife. Yeah. I love the herding sheep, and you see Babe get aggressive because that's what he learned from his mom, his adopted mother. Hey, you got to show these people who are boss. They're stupid. You're smart. Show them how to do it. And he bites them, and then gets into the conversation with Ma and all the rest of them about how good and sweet Babe really is. And he just needs to be respectful. And if you ask nicely, we're going to do that stuff for you. Like, we'll do this stuff. It's not that hard.
Yeah, it's fun because it's also not like it doesn't beat you over the head with like, okay, kids, be nice, and be nice will get you things. It just kind of is that way in this movie. And that's like, in a kind of the movie praises gentleness and politeness without making it amoral. So it's cute. And that also gives Babe his chosen special power, right? Not that he just learns to be a sheepdog, but that he learns to do it in his own way.
Yeah. And, you know, you see it later, and kind of what you're saying, like, we don't see full on conversations about like that Babe is having with these animals to where because it like directly after that, it shows them walking 2 by 2, like it like immediately cuts. And we see that at the end of the movie, whenever he's at the sheepdog competition, and all of a sudden he does the password, and that one sheep's like, what did you say? And then the next scene is just them walking through. Like, we're not watching any of that transition there.
It's funny. It seems like you spend so much time in just little like episodic cutesy farm stories, right? Like the alarm clock heist isn't important, you know?
No.
And then you have like things like, you know, he might be eating for Christmas dinner, then he's not. And then all of a sudden you introduce, like about halfway through the movie, it feels like the sheepdog thing. And then there's like a lot of things about him trying to be a sheepdog, but they never really show him learning. They never show him practicing with the boss, Farmer Hoggett. So it's just like, it feels like a long time where he's learning to be a sheepdog, but actually you never actually see him learn.
Yeah, I think, and in the fact that Farmer Hoggett's just like, I think that's part of it. Like, he doesn't do anything with Babe. He stands, especially at the competition, he stands there and says, you know, do whatever, pig or whatever. And Babe just does his thing. He doesn't have to do any calls or anything. Babe just walks him through it gently, and they just close the door. I love that ending scene. I mean, we're not there yet.
It's also quiet, yeah.
Yeah, the quietness, and then like him slamming the gate closed. Oh, it's so good.
I will say, I have the 61 words that James Cromwell has. Like, at least 8 of them are "cum pig."
Cum pig, yes. The other one. So it's "That'll do, pig," "cum pig," and this is a children's show. I can't say some of the stuff that
Farmer Hoggett says. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rude.
So we get Babe warning them about the guys stealing, and Babe herding sheep. And then the next thing is these stray dogs that are killing sheep. 3 stray dogs that Babe so in the first time, whenever the other like warning the dogs and these people are stealing the sheep, he gets chased off. He comes back crying. In this scene, Babe faces those dogs head on, literally, and punches them right in the side with his head and makes the dogs run off. But unfortunately, this is a sad scene.
It is a sad scene because we lose. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't do an accent. That might be.
Whoa, that's appropriation. Stupid.
Stupid.
But we lose Ma in this scene, and then Babe gets framed for murder, I guess, kind of, because he has blood.
Well, I mean, he's not actively being framed. The farmer just sees Babe with the dead sheep and keeps that little piglet, tore the throat out of that giant sheep.
It's like, you're a farmer, you know what pig's teeth look like. They're not doing that, my guy.
That's not what happened. And then he's like, well, the narrator's like, look, I mean, just like law of the farm. If a sheep dies, only one thing can be done. And the farmer's like, I guess I'm gonna have to shoot this baby pig in the face.
And then
it's the law of the farm, Cody. You have to shoot that baby pig in the face.
And thankfully, on death row, the call comes in from the governor to pardon this poor pig. It's his wife says, "Oh, hey, did you know there's three stray dogs running around killing sheep?"
Yeah, it's a little Deus Ex Machina there, because it also sets it up that like his adopted mom Fly is gonna like find out what happened and then come back and save him. And then I guess she kind of delays him a little bit because he's like, "Huh."
Oh yeah, just that little bit.
Maybe he thinks twice about it, and then Fly doesn't really help at all. And then the wife comes out and is like, "Hey, I just got a phone call that there's a sheep killing dog around." He was like, "Oh, you sure it wasn't a tiny pig?"
Because this guy's up to no good. I've got him in the back here. That Fly scene. I don't know why. She's so aggressive and mean.
Fly's kind of a jerk. Well, when she talks to sheep, it's just like, oof. I mean,
yeah.
You love your family. You don't get to pick them. But
I mean, that's about like 95% of our mothers right now. They're a little harder.
That's
they're a
true.
little rough around the edges. They might have voted for somebody.
Like 90% of our fathers, our generation's fathers. Well, it's kind of funny though that Fly like just decides to. I guess it's built on the like her losing her puppies, her latest litter. So then maybe, and it's never said this way, but maybe she becomes more connected to Babe. But then she like gets out of her like hierarchical like judgment of other animals for Babe pretty fast, easy. It was like, I don't know, maybe this pig can be a dog, and I was like, well, maybe that sheep's not an R word. Chill out, Fly.
What if this movie did drop a hard R on the
1995, man, it was a different time.
A different time.
These dogs were calling people ours.
You can't be doing that, Fly. You cannot be doing that.
Especially in Australia?
Yeah, no, you can't.
They still say it today.
So Babe gets saved from execution, stay of execution for Babe, and he continues to learn to be a sheepdog. And then we get to why does he go out into the rain?
Because it's really cute, actually. Well, when he gets let inside.
Oh yeah.
Is that what you mean?
No, there's one where he gets sick, where they find him in the graveyard. It's very much like we just watched Kate Winslet, get sick from being out in the rain in Sense and Sensibility, and then Babe is out in the rain. And I can't. Oh, it's because of the cat. When he does get let inside, the cat pretty much says, "Hey, humans eat pigs, and they're gonna eat you eventually."
Oh, so he goes investigating. It's funny. I think that both times I miss it. I watched the film. I missed that scene because I also missed how Rex got sick or hurt. I guess. Mad.
Yeah. Well, that's when Rex talks to Fly about like why he's not a dog, and then he attacks her. And then he puts a muzzle on him, and then
he attacks her, and he calls her like a two-faced wench or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And so he gets muzzled, and he gets I don't know what the kind of shot
sedated.
Is. Thank you, sedated. I could not think of that word. So he gets sedated, and that's why he's sick. But
no, they didn't put him down because he comes around by the end, and he helps save the day. Yeah.
So everything's fixed. We're supposed to forget about their abusive relationship.
Yeah, that's a lot of weird plot in there.
Yeah.
All I really remember from that part of the movie is like how sweet it is when Babe's inside. It's very cute because he just whistles for Rex, I assume. I don't know why Fly has to sleep in the barn while Rex gets to go inside. But he just like whistles for the dog, and then Babe just comes along with the dog, and then they have that little like back and forth thing where he's like, can I really come inside? And he's like, yeah, you can come in. Come on.
Come pig.
Yeah, come pig.
It's the theme of today's show. Come pig. Yeah, but we get this we get a very sweet scene of nursing Babe back to health. Like Babe's not eating, Babe's not drinking. And then we get the farmer who's been left alone for 3 days because his wife's going on some, I don't know, jams and jellies tour, I guess.
Yeah.
Like,
He hasn't been left alone. He wasn't abandoned. He's a grown man.
he's just out of town.
He's just out of town, yeah.
So when the wife's away, the farmer gets to play.
With the pig he was going to shoot in the face 2 days ago.
Yeah, he lets the pig in. And then, no, we cannot get that train going in chat, please. And so this is when we get him singing the song to him, the If I Had Words song.
Yeah.
Which is very sweet. And then he does this little dance, which is like an Irish jig dance. And we see James Cromwell's nasty teeth. And
and Babe just looks at him and goes, okay.
it disappears.
Yeah.
It's just like eating. Like, I don't want to see this shit anymore. I'll eat this food.
Oh, and then like also James Cromwell's like it's kind of sweet because like the dog and the pig are laying in front of him watching TV with him, but he's watching like two people dressed like angels singing in a Christmas choir all alone in a dark house. It's kind of weird. If I walked in on my dad doing that, I'd be like, "Hey man, let's talk."
Like, this is normal. This is fine.
Let's go fishing, Dad. I don't know anything. Let's get out of the house.
But he nurses him back to health. He decides that night, I'm going to enter this not dog into the sheepdog competition under the technicality that when it says name of entrant and not name of dog.
Well, and the technicality is that it doesn't specify dog in the rules,
right?
Which seems crazy because it's got to say the word dog somewhere in the.
But the narrator talks about Farmer Hoggett being a very honest man, and then
he's like, all right, well, I'm pretty sure this isn't against the rules. But if it says name of dog, then I'll be a liar. So I have to. And then he's like, oh, it says name of entry or something. So he calls him pig. Which is also, I get it, but it's kind of weird because he doesn't know the Babe's name is Babe. So Babe gets called Babe and Pig like for 50% of this movie.
Typical farmer, just naming them what they are: pig, chicken, duck. And then we get the sheepdogs competition, which does have our the sheepies, the different kind of sheep. They're not the same kind of sheep that Babe has. Mm-hmm. And he tries talking to him, but they're not listening to him. They apparently don't understand pig unless you have the magic password that Rex has to save the day and go back to the farm and ask why these sheep are
farm.
He runs.
It's just down the road.
Yeah, but he's so
like a very professional deal. There's like 1,000 people in the stands, but it's also just down the road from his personal farm.
Yeah, I guess you don't really get the geography lesson of this area where Babe is at. Yeah. But you do see Rex get on a truck in order to get back even quicker.
Okay.
So he runs there, but he takes a hit. I mean, that's a lot of running, especially for a dog with no hearing and.
He's been sedated.
He's been sedated for who knows long.
For like months on end.
We're just
muzzling and the password part is cringe. I don't know. It's just kind of dumb. The Ba-Ram-U.
Yeah, Ba-Ram-U. I do think that's in the book too.
It must be because it does feel like something that was written in like a British children's book.
Yeah. But then Babe, walks this thing through after everybody's laughing at Farmer Hoggett for having a pig, and Babe walks him through the competition and ends up, destroying the competition and winning the competition. He gets perfect scores. I don't know how you score a sheepdog competition.
Out of 100, apparently.
Out of 100, yeah, that's a lot. And Babe wins, and then it just ends on a that'll do, pig, that'll do, and that's it. That's what we get with Babe. Not a Pig in the Country, the first one.
Pig in the Country.
All right, so who's your favorite character, and is there a scene stealer? I think we probably
Ferdinand.
Yeah,
Ferdinand's
awesome. Obvious.
He's so funny.
He's the only one that's willing to subvert, expectations. He wants to be something different. He knows. He's the smartest character.
I like the whole thing that he left, but then he comes back randomly just to notice that Babe's inside.
Because he loves Babe. He has an affection. That's one thing. Like, I always thought Ferdinand took advantage of Babe, and they kind of say that a little bit in the narration. But I truly think that Ferdinand saw something. He saw a little bit of himself in Babe.
Yeah,
He was
absolutely.
like, this guy gets me. He'll get me.
We're both food.
That's true. Oh man, poor Ferdinand.
Yeah, Ferdinand was awesome. Yeah, nobody else gets to be really funny. Nobody gets to be funny outside of themselves, I guess. Or I guess nobody's like eloquent. Is the other thing. So yeah, he's the best. I mean, I could say Babe or James Cromwell. They both did great jobs.
Yeah, that's pretty good, and always impressive for I mean, on the best performance. We can talk about that, but yeah, the Farmer Hoggett, Babe is amazing. But what they do with such little dialogue, and it's really just looking at his facial expressions whenever he's talking to the pig or talking to his family, or the family parts were really weird for me.
Yeah, those aren't my favorite parts. Those could be left out and replaced with some other cool things, I think.
Did it ever feel like everybody else in this movie except for James Cromwell was 80 yard? Like you couldn't, like it almost didn't match up with their mouths, or it didn't look like that was the voice that should come out of their mouths.
Maybe it was. Maybe since they were already doing so much like VO for the animals, they
just didn't capture any sound.
Yeah, or they were like, hey, we already have so much studio space and equipment, and like we want you to like ADR some lines instead.
That's true. Yeah, it just some of them seem very unnatural coming out of their mouth, and I was a little bit like,
yeah, that wasn't necessary. The only reason they seemed to be around was just to justify it being Christmas dinner. But I don't know, they could not be around. I wouldn't be like, oh, that's so sad they don't have a family for Christmas. I think like, all right, yeah, these sweet old couple has Christmas together.
Yeah, with their terrible grandkids.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't need that
either.
I
wanted the other one.
I remember being like, okay, Willy Wonka. I've been preached this for 40 years now. Shut up.
Yeah, we didn't need the kids.
You're on TV, babe. Stop yelling at me. You asked me to watch you.
Favorite quotes from this movie?
Favorite quotes? I mean, there's a lot of good moments, but I had very few quotes. I think the thing that made me laugh and swoon both times I watched the movie, just 3 words where I think he's hanging out with Ferdinand. And I think it's when Ferdinand says, hey, they're going to eat me. They eat ducks. Those people do. And it's probably when he says, oh, not the boss. But then he goes, oh, dear me. Oh, dear me is so good. Oh, dear me. Ferdinand's like, yeah, oh, dear you.
I love that he calls him Ferdy. He's like, oh, nobody's ever called me Ferdy before. I like that. Ferdinand has like 2 of my favorite quotes. One part where he's explaining to Babe. It's the same part where he's like, yeah, they eat ducks. They don't eat the roosters because roosters wake people up in the morning, and they get it on with the hens. And the next line out of Ferdinand's mouth is, I tried it with the hens. It didn't work.
That was funny. My Ferdinand line is when he starts screaming about Christmas, and he says, dinner means death, death means carnage, Christmas means carnage.
Christmas means carnage.
And he flies away.
Let's see, what else do I have? I already listed a couple of mine. I mean, most of them. There aren't a ton of funny ones. The one I was talking about with the cat earlier is the narrator says there are perfectly nice cats in the world, but every barrel has its bad apples, and it is well to heed the old adage, beware the bad cat bearing a grudge.
Yeah. I like when the cat hissed and Babe says, bless you.
I love when Babe, after Christmas and everybody leaves, just gets a la, 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 la.
Yeah.
There's some good pig acting in this movie. I don't know.
There's great pig acting in this movie.
Pig acting. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Bahram you to your breed, your fleece, your clan be true, sheep be true, Bahram you. Seems a little interesting.
Yeah. The only other one I have is actually, it was a small one, but it was just the vet that was looking at Rex. He's like, I don't know what's going on with him. He's got me stonkered.
Stonkered.
I was like, did he say stonkered?
That's vet lingo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's stonkered. I don't know what's wrong with him.
Common vet lingo. Okay, biggest laugh, cry, scare, or thrill.
Yeah. There's a bunch of laughs. I like the mice singing Blue Moon.
That was adorable. Yeah.
I like that Duchess calls the wife the boss.
Oh yes, I do love that. The boss's husband is what she refers to.
When the rooster tells Babe to get out of there, he goes, "Oh, okay." And he walks backwards and falls off a ramp.
The French rooster, like, is it's a French rooster? It feels.
Oh,
like,
is it French? I don't know.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't even tell what you're saying. I don't know.
Yeah, Christmas Beach Carnage is probably one of the bigger laughs too of this.
Yeah, and I guess this could go under quotes, but yeah, when his first attempt at shepherding, he says, "Move, you big buttheads."
Butthead. That's got to be like, they were like, okay, we can't make this too good. Let's put in some 90s lingo for like, what are kids calling kids?
Butthead was such a 90s word.
Very.
It was like the worst word we were allowed to use without getting too yelled at.
Butthole was a little worse. I used to call people buttholes too.
Yeah, that's just a little too graphic.
Yeah, you know what a butthole looks like. So
there's a lot of crying scenes. When Rex, I mean, I guess it's justified later on when it becomes worse and worse, but this is like early on Rex, after the heist scene. He's like, "You can't talk to that duck anymore." And I was like, that's his only friend.
Everybody else is so mean to me.
Yeah, he's like, what do you mean? I'm sorry, we like built a thing in the house. He's like, I don't know. I get the guy's got a gun, but he's like, I think we're fine. He's like, nope, your only friend. You can never talk to him again, you dumb, stupid pig. And that made me really sad.
That is very sad.
And they were like, he's got to stop crowing. If you ever see that duck again, tell him he's not allowed to crow around here anymore. And I thought that was rude. I don't know. I mean, the rooster's already crowing. Who cares?
You're not wrong.
This is a real Animal Farm. This is the real Orwellian farm story.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Did you find the little stray dog terrifying?
There was a little stray dog?
Yeah, so there were like
You mean
two
Babe?
No, whenever the dogs that actually kill the sheep are in there, I feel like the dogs in that scene are very scary. And then there's like a littler one that's like a
Why
Jack
is there,
Russell.
there's a different one? Why was there one that was different?
And I don't know why, but when I was a kid, I remember being way more scared of that little dog than any of the other ones because the way he like crawls over the sheep at one point.
Those dogs were scary for sure.
Those dogs, that was very scary. I didn't like that.
I mean, I think in my thrills, because I always forget to put scare and thrill separate. I think I had the sheep attacks, like both of them were kind of scary. Where the dog chases Babe and sheep attacks, what I wrote down.
Yeah.
And then as a cry scene, I mean, when they're just selling fucking puppies right in front of their mom.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
The slow, long look at that mother's face as her children are being sold off to like bratty little kids.
I almost put that as like my most what the fuck moment. I was just like, can we not? Like,
yeah. Also, can take the dog somewhere else if you got to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, and also like later on, they're like, we can't fix Rex because my husband wants him for a breeding dog. Like, so what's that? That's income for you guys? Just selling puppies and ripping them away from their mother's breast to give the grubby nosed little suburbanites?
Now those little puppies are just spouting off the hate that they learned from their mom and dad. They go around calling everybody stupid.
Yeah, they do.
Ferdinand and Tom Duck.
Like, Babe, though.
They did like Babe.
It was a cute little scene early on where Babe's asleep, like in the mud, and they're just like, all of them come out at once. They're like, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. And then they all run away together.
3 of the voices of the puppies are all little rascals.
Oh, I'm sure. I assume the 90s ones.
Yeah, the 90s. Yeah, no.
Not Mickey Rooney. Get up, you pig.
Get up, you stupid pig. Yeah, I could recognize the kid that played Buckwheat. I could recognize his voice out.
Oh yeah,
he has
a distinct voice.
I just thought that was interesting that those 3 of the kids. It was like Buckwheat, and Stymie were all voices.
Oh
yeah. So very interesting. But yeah, geez, like the lingering shot, and then thankfully Babe comes into the barn and says like, "Can I call you Mom?" And I just was like, I mean, that's just.
Yeah.
so sweet, and then she licks his face. Oh my
And he
god!
cries his heart out. He cries his little pig
God,
heart out.
Babe cries so much in this movie. Real tears too.
Yeah. Yeah. That's hard for an actor to do. Good point, Cody. Why did James Cromwell get
And that's
nominated?
why, yeah, Babe should have gotten nominated, or one of the 57 pigs, or whatever it is that he is. I want to know which one's the crying pig.
Yeah, that crying pig deserves a nom at least.
Yeah, seriously. Speaking of what the fuck or ridiculous moment, did you have a special segment that you thought was like worse than any of the others? Or just like, why are we doing this?
Wait, worse in quality or just like
What's ridiculous about this movie?
Oh yeah. You know, I mean, I don't know. Some of the segments don't work and could be taken out. But we already talked about, honestly, the heist stuff was kind of boring to me. It's just Ferdinand was great.
Yeah, it's just
so like, oh, this is the obligatory kids movie thing where you got to sneak in and then get by a dog. But you got some yarn on your belt, and I don't know. Kids might still like that these days, but I found it a little trite, you know, for my talking pig movies. I had some what the fuck moments.
Yeah, what are they?
We talked about some of them. The sheep racism for sure. But this could have been a quote too. But Ferdinand at some point says, "I suppose the life of an anorexic duck doesn't amount to much in the broad scheme of things." And I just don't feel like this world needs to acknowledge the existence of anorexia. I don't.
I didn't realize that he wasn't eating.
But in this world, it shouldn't be done.
Yeah, I didn't realize that he wasn't. Do you think he wasn't eating so that they wouldn't eat him?
Yeah, I don't know why he said that, but I imagine that he was starving himself. I think that was like implied that he was starving himself so that he wouldn't be
had it tough.
Yeah,
poor guy.
Right.
And his like, what I saw in Wikipedia is like his girlfriend ends up getting killed.
Yeah, Rosanna. That was another one I had under what the fuck. Like they just eat Rosanna, and then Ferdinand's there. That's when he leaves. He's like, she was cool. She was beautiful. You know, she was a beautiful duck, and we were homies. And then he goes, I can't do this anymore. I'm getting out of here. He's literally like, I can't handle how fucked up this is, and he flies away for like 20 minutes.
But he comes back to watch. He has to come back to watch his boy.
Comes back to peek in the window, and then you don't see him again. I needed more Ferdinand in the second half of the movie. Yeah. I like that he flew away and he said, I can't handle it anymore. But like if he came back, he's like, oh, it's crazy out there. Can you hide me? That kind of thing. That would have been cooler, so we could get to talk to him more. Because he could have given him a pep talk. And he was like, hey, did I give up when my girlfriend got eaten in front of me? Babe, no. I kept going. You got to keep going, too.
Have you tried not fucking worrying about it, babe?
Yeah. I think they missed an opportunity for more Ferdinand in the movie.
Yeah, I do think that Ferdinand gets more in the, if I remember correctly, I think Ferdinand is featured a little bit more in Pig in the City.
Oh, he comes back?
Yeah, I think we get less sheepdog and we get more Pig in the City. Oh, yeah. With some Ferdinand getting.
If I was my first time to the city, the big city, I want Ferdinand as my wingman. He'd be a fun person to go to the city with.
Yeah, I don't want to go with mom and dad. I want to go with Ferdinand.
Yeah,
he gets bitches. Any other ridiculous moments?
That was it.
I had the Fly Rex fight because it was very uncomfortable to try and like talk about them being husband and wife, and then talking about breeding, and then he like attacks her. Like, oh my god! Like, I did not like that.
Yeah, it was a little much.
Yeah,
they could have reworked the Rex like arc better
a little bit. I've seen that before. It's been in everything. He doesn't have to be that mean.
Yeah.
Best music moment.
I mean, I don't know about a specific one, but I thought all the music was good, and I thought it was good to that they used classical music. I think it was really the right choice. I guess maybe the best one is because when I noticed it both times I watched it, is that the title sequence has like all these, you know, framed pictures and knickknacks on the wall.
I love
some like lighthearted classical music. It's really great. It's almost like Wes Anderson quality, like bespoke colors and vibes. And it's a great introduction to the world. So I think that's when I noticed it acutely. But overall, I just liked that they used classical.
Yeah, I love that opening title sequence scene. And like, I can remember as I'm watching it, I'm like waiting, like anticipating. I was like, okay, here's going to be the big crescendo. And these pigs are going to start moving their legs. And it's going to be really cute. Or the pig's going to jump through the hoop thing. I love that part. Yeah. I also had, obviously, when the Farmer Hoggett sings to Babe and then does his little dance. It's a great moment. I love that song. All right, it's time for Fuck, Marry, Kill.
I knew it was coming.
It's coming. Your three choices are Fly, Ma, and Duchess.
So it's like pork per bite.
I couldn't think of a really good. I wanted to think of a really good one for this.
I know, yeah. Pork per and something else would be funny. Trying to make them match FMK. All right, wait, one more time. Fuck, Marry, Kill. Duchess,
Fly,
and
Ma.
I missed that. I was too busy thinking of my joke. Ma. Ooh.
We didn't get to meet Rosanna, so I couldn't put her on here.
I mean, we saw his haunches. Yeah, man. I guess I'm kill Duchess. Fuck Ma. She's experienced. We'll say that. Like, isn't it her whole job is to like lay down and give birth to sheep all day? That's like why she's not out in the field.
Yeah, I think so.
I'll take that bullet, then I'll marry Fly. Fly's all right.
Yeah, Fly's okay. I mean, she needs.
I'd rather fuck Ma once than stay in that sad barn hole that she's in for the rest of my life with her.
There's something seductive about Duchess. I don't know what it is. It's her voice.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, there's something about Duchess's voice. I think I'm killing Ma. And I think I'm fucking Duchess and marrying Fly. Even though Fly and I need to have a conversation about, like, you know, she does change her ways a little bit, but I need a little bit further.
Yeah. She's overall chill.
Experience.
I mean, she's like the mother of all the sheep.
I mean, her name's Ma.
Her name's Ma.
Ma. Racists. Oh man, who delivered the standout performance, and why was it James Cromwell?
James Cromwell was excellent, but I mean, I'll go with Colleen. What's her face? She was amazing.
Christine Cavanaugh.
Yeah.
No, the voices were outstanding. I don't know. I don't know if I loved like Fly and Rex as voices, but Babe's voice, Ferdinand's voice, I think were really good. I like Duchess's voice. I love the narrator. But the other ones were okay. I was kind of surprised that that Fly was Miriam Margolyes. If you know who she is, just an old British actress.
Yeah.
She's been in everything.
Professor Sprout. I had written that.
Yes, Professor Sprout. Yep. So I was surprised that was the voice because it didn't sound like her to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you recast this movie in 1995 or 2025?
I didn't do any 1995.
I didn't either.
I couldn't be knackered to do it. If that's how you say that.
Skonkered or what? Stonkered.
Skonkered, yeah, skonkered. I did some 2025 ones, but it's hard to do in this movie.
Yeah. Who'd you pick?
Well, first of all, easiest is Ferdinand has Ben Schwartz, right?
Oh yes, that's so good.
Yeah. I watched all 3 Sonic movies last week.
Did you watch the Knuckles TV series too?
I did not. They're really bad. I mean, they're not really bad. They're whatever.
They're fun. They're fine.
Fun. I was trying to I was reading a book, but I still needed, a screen on. So.
Give all props and love to James Marsden for being in those movies.
Yeah, man. I was like, man, where have you been? What are you doing over here? But he's probably making money. Yeah, Ben Schwartz is a perfect Ferdinand. He's already playing a duck and DuckTales, right?
Oh yeah.
So he's probably done his research.
That's funny. I picked the duck actor for mine, but not for I didn't cast any of the animals, but Ben Schwartz is perfect. That's amazing.
And the rest of them like could be anybody kind of.
Yeah.
They're pretty straightforward. I mean, you'd have to find somebody really good for Babe, but I definitely don't know who that is off the top of my head.
Just put E.G. Daly in it. She could do it. Or Nancy Cartwright or any
working, right?
Yeah. Nancy Cartwright's actually the one that took over for Christine Cavanaugh after she's the voice of Chucky Finster now, and she's the voice of
Dexter
and all that stuff. Yeah, so
that makes sense. I thought about Ray Fiennes for a second, but then just a little preview for some of my pair with picks. I thought you bring Hugh Bonneville and Sally Hawkins from the Paddington movies over. And
Yeah.
I think that could work. I think it would be really good if you like did a remake and you kind of role reversaled and Sally Hawkins got to be James Cromwell.
Ooh, I
And
like
then
that.
Hugh Bonneville was kind of a silly, cutesy, like farm husband.
Yeah, that actually fits a lot better than what I had. Even though I went David Tennant as Farmer Hoggett,
Okay.
because every time people quote "That'll do, pig," they always do it with a Scottish accent because of Shrek. When Shrek says "That'll do, donkey,"
Yes.
so everybody conflates the two together. So I was like, let's just go ahead and make it as Scottish as possible and put David Tennant in it. But then I said Olivia Colman as Mrs. Hoggett.
Oh yeah, Olivia Colman.
Yeah. And redo this movie with the
Over
director of
here.
Paddington.
Yeah.
That would-
What'd you say about Paddington?
I said just redo this movie with the director of Paddington behind it.
Yeah.
And
Also, director of Wonka. Yeah.
yes.
We were talking about, like, we started this whole conversation with like how to make these classic kind of still live actiony like children's films, and I don't know that we have a ton of it, but we forgot to mention. I mean, like Wonka and the Paddington movies are excellent, and they're like Babe style excellent. Yeah, we should get him involved in the Babe 3, Pig in Space.
Pigs in space. All right. What fun facts do you have that we haven't already talked about?
Man, kind of a lot of them. First of all, the book was written by Dick King Smith, and his last name is like King Dash Smith, like it's hyphenated. But he could have been Dick King. So I don't know. I get that if he like respects his mom or dad, or if like that's like a British thing, and they're like, you know, very famous Smiths or something. But I would go with Dick King. I have the option just sitting there. That's my first piece of trivia.
What else?
Video game. Okay, well, this is the most me part of the whole movie. A little bit is that I'm an animal rights person. So it's been a long known fact about Babe. So among the things we've already talked about, that if Babe ever comes up in conversation, I'm going to say the same things people say, but that James Cromwell became an animal rights activist because of this movie, and became a vegan while filming this movie. He did say something very cringe where he was like, I just didn't feel like I could get into the role unless I really respected these animals or something. And I was like, well, that's dumb. But he did become that person. And it's so funny because people know him mostly from this movie and from others as a kind of stodgy, like old crotchety white dude, looking wise at least. But he's a very passionate animal rights person, and he has been arrested for protests at things. And yeah, there was something I read about him. Oh yeah, he founded a big Christmas dinner event in LA for the homeless that was all vegetarian, and his whole point whenever he did a press for it was to reference the movie and say Christmas shouldn't be carnage. Christmas isn't carnage.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Didn't he adopt a
side note is Johns Hopkins produced a paper that tried to track data showing that watching Babe as a kid did have a higher like result of kids choosing to be vegetarian at young ages.
Interesting. Well, pork sales did drop by 20% after this movie came out.
Yeah.
So it does do something. I bet whale sales went down after Free Willy too.
Yeah, everybody's put down the orca sandwiches.
Stupid.
I mean, SeaWorld's been under attack, and I bet that ramped that
Oh,
up. It's
definitely.
always been a thing, but I bet it's only gotten more and more over the years.
Yeah, absolutely. What was I gonna say? I think Cromwell also adopted a pig.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
one
I think
of the 48.
Yeah, I think he adopted one of the pigs or a pig that was very similar and raised it.
This movie was released during the Year of the Pig.
Ooh, interesting. I didn't know that.
I did. I read that online. I was going to go verify it, but I haven't.
Yeah, that's the problem with some of the things you find. It's just whatever you find on the internet. Quentin Tarantino said that this is one of his favorite movies of 1995.
Yeah.
Who knows if that's right?
I think that I imagine that's right because I don't know how many movies I've watched that somewhere somebody's put a microphone in front of Quentin Tarantino and he's been like, "Great movie, I love that movie." because it's constantly a trivia thing. Like Quentin Tarantino calls this one of the best movies ever made, and I'm like, well, it seems like he's saying that about most movies. You might just like movies.
Yeah, I think that guy just likes movies. And I would love to see a Quentin Tarantino directed Babe.
Oh, the Slaughterhouse. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If Babe gets revenge for his family dying.
That's kind of what we're missing, because we have all these movies like Pig, right? Or like these kind of like weird tonal movies the past few years where animals are involved. We need one that
was another one.
What's that?
Lamb. I think that's
Lamb.
another
That's another one I was thinking of. Yeah. We need that, but like more like Tarantino'd up.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like it. What else?
Cromwell almost didn't take it. He only got paid $50,000. And when he found out that the movie was making millions and millions of dollars, he asked them for more, and they said, "No, thank you." And
he
went on to say that it was the best part of his career because after that movie, he never had to audition anymore.
Oh, that's cool. He also claimed that he paid for his own Oscar campaign at the cost of $60,000, which was $10,000 more than he got paid for the movie.
But I guess it sounds like to him he was a bit player that maybe got some write-ups or was like liked, but he still had to audition. He wasn't a name until this movie, and so if he thinks that like, oh my gosh, this weird pig movie I almost didn't do is gonna get like Oscar noms and everybody loves it, it's a hit. I need to like capitalize on my career, and it probably did make James Cromwell, you know, like after this movie. So.
I think I remember him most from The Green Mile. He's the warden, I believe. Yeah, and he has the sick wife and everything. That's what I think I remember James Cromwell from the most. I do know he was in Succession as well. I think he's Landon Roy's brother.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know
that. Anything else? I have a couple.
Yeah, I mean, also, are you gonna get into the fights between George Miller and?
No, I hadn't. I did write down one of those things about George Miller and Chris Noonan, but I wanted to point out that the wife, Farmer Hoggett's wife, Esme, is 30 years old in this movie. Like the actress is 30,
right?
Something, and she was made to look 20 years older. I want to know what they did. Like.
I don't think she looks that old. They just made her hair gray and frizzy, and then they put her in farmer's dresses.
But she just looks like she's 50 something. And when I saw that she was early 30, I was like,
right. I looked at her career too, and most of the stuff she had done was with Noonan.
Really?
Yeah. So they may know each other or something. But I think she looks just more like a normal person. I mean, she's just a bigger person, and they put her in that farm dress and put her hair up, and they add gray to her hair. But other than that, yeah. It was early 30s that I read too. I don't know that she had like just turned 30, but yeah, absolutely, it's kind of crazy. Also, like I don't know how old James Cromwell was because he looks the same for the
Yeah, I think he was in his 50s because he.
I was looking at 2025 like recast. I try to Google like actors over 50, and it's like, yeah, Bradley Cooper's turning 50 this year or something, or like Dak Shepard is, and I'm like, well, these guys aren't old. Like James Cromwell's old. Yeah.
50 looked a whole lot different 30 years ago than it does
really
now.
did.
Yeah. It's really crazy. What else do I have? This was actually like a pet project of George Miller. It took him 10 years to get this done and he waited because he wanted to make sure that the special effects could catch up with his vision for the film. That seems very George Miller, especially after you watch like what he did in the 80s with Mad Max and then waited 30 years to do anything else with the Mad Max franchise.
Yeah, totally.
So it is very, What do you got about Noonan and Miller?
Well, apparently they didn't get along very well on the set. Noonan's interesting because, I mean, his Wikipedia doesn't say what he's done for money other than film work, but he did a movie in 1973. Then in 1980, he did a documentary short, and then the next thing he does is 1995 Babe. Then he doesn't do anything until 2006. When he does the biopic about Beatrix Potter. And that's all he's done in his career. So he's like directed the Citizen Kane of Talking Pig movies. Anyways, all of that as context is that he and George Miller didn't get along, and he thought George Miller was going to try to steal credit for this film, which is also just funny to think about these guys fighting behind this pig movie, like fighting behind the set on this pig movie about like who deserves credit for this masterpiece. And then later on, accused Miller of taking Noonan's name off of credits on different websites on the internet, like going around the web and removing his name on credits. And to which Miller was like, why would I ever do that? I've got better things to do with my time. But then did have a little jab, a quote where he said basically that brilliant film was like given to him on a silver platter. So they're still kind of like beefing about that to this day, about who's more responsible. And I don't know why, but I'm just on George Miller's side. He wrote it for 10 years. He's the visual effects king. It's great. It's well directed. It's really original. And this Noonan guy, I mean, what did he do except a Beatrix Potter movie I never heard of?
Yeah, and then George Miller, who absolutely loves this movie or whatever, goes on to direct the sequel. Like that's how much involved he is. He's like, yeah, I'll write the sequel. I'll direct the sequel to this.
Also, like ended up writing the scripts for Happy Feet, successful movies.
Which is so great. He's the director and writer and producer of Happy Feet and Happy Feet 2. What a weird filmography this guy.
So
has.
where do we think like Babe's genius is coming from? It's probably him more than this Noonan guy who's I don't know, but that may not be true. I wasn't there.
Yeah, what a strange filmography this guy has. Just Mad Max, bookended by Mad Max's.
Lorenzo's Oil's in there. He did Lorenzo's Oil. Have you ever seen that?
Witches of Eastwick's in here too. It's weird. It's so weird. I don't like Happy Feet, but I know.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, I don't know. It's kid slop. It's fine.
Yeah, not a big fan. Let's see. What else do I have? We already talked about how he only spoke 171 words of spoken dialogue and 61 words that were sung. It's crazy. That's crazy. Anything else that we might have missed?
That's all I got.
All right. Like a fine wine and dish, if you could pair this with another movie for a double feature, what would you choose? And we've kind of hit on a lot of them so far.
Yeah, they've come up. So I mean, I think there's a lot of obvious ones. Homeward Bound or Charlotte's Web kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think honestly, tonally, Wallace and Gromit was one of the better picks.
I picked Chicken Run.
Okay, Chicken Run makes sense. Because I always thought I'm trying to remember early Wallace and Gromit. I was like, wasn't that on a farm, or am I just thinking of Chicken Run? But yeah, those make sense because they have similar humor, like in structure, storytelling style.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, I like Chicken Run. Which Charlotte's Web are you think, cartoon or the live action one? Because
I've never seen the live action Charlotte's Web.
I'll be honest,
that sounds like a horror show.
I kind of liked the newer Charlotte's Web. Steve Buscemi plays the voice of Templeton.
Oh yeah,
I mean that's a great voice cast.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I'm not going out of my way to watch Charlotte's Web, but I remember my mom buying that DVD and me coming home from Christmas from like college, or I think it was in college when it came out, and being like, "This isn't half bad. This is better than I thought." It's kind of like that Babe, like, oh my god, I just watched something really good.
Yeah, that's cool. That would make sense because obviously the initial connection I made was just about being about a pig on a farm.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to do the live action, do it. It might as well be the live action version.
Yeah. Any other movies that you want to point out?
The two just popped in my head that are kind of like fucked up pairing with, but
love it.
Yeah, well, we're talking about Don Bluth. So like if we're talking about animals escaping, the cruelty done to them by humans, like Secret of Nim.
Mm-hmm.
Or even you can even go to like Watership Down.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, those are significantly darker than Babe.
Yeah. What about Rockadoodle? That's about a farm.
What about Rockadoodle? You tell me what about Rockadoodle.
Rockadoodle.
Mel Gibson?
Yeah, no, it's Glenn Campbell is the voice of Rockadoodle.
I thought Mel Gibson was involved in the Rockadoodle joint. I was mistaken.
I'm
not sure I've ever seen Rockadoodle.
The Rhinestone Cowboy himself. Glenn Campbell. I picked Okja, which is Bong Joon-ho's.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I was looking at it recently on Wikipedia.
An interesting movie. I don't know if I would watch it back to back with Babe, but it's about a girl and her love for her pig, her super pig, Okja.
Yeah, it tries to like free it from like a slaughterhouse or something.
Mm-hmm. There's like animal rights people that are trying to get after Okja. There's the people that are just like, hey, we need that pig to feed people. So it's really interesting. There's a lot of like comedic moments in there.
He has an earlier movie that's about like a murdered dog too.
Oh, I think it's called Barking Dogs Never Bite. Or
that's it, yeah.
which is a wild movie too. Yeah, Chicken Run, Charlotte's Web, Paddington. We already talked about the Paddington.
I had, yeah.
Well,
and then we gotta do the other loophole animal movie,
what's that?
Air Bud. Yeah,
Oh God.
it's not. It's technically not in the rules. Like they both use the same.
Oh, that's a
gimmick.
good pairing. Yeah, they're both okay. I just do not like Air Bud.
I never did. I don't like it. I didn't like it as a kid.
I hate it so much. On a rewatchability rating scale, though, of 1 to 5, how likely are you to rewatch this movie?
4 out of 5.
Yeah, I went a little bit lower than my actual rating, but I went with 3. I was like, I'm not jumping at the chance, but I think this is the warmth of this movie, the comfort of this movie. It's like a good, cold, rainy day movie. Throw on, you're like, I'll just cuddle up with Babe.
My girlfriend sat down on the couch like about halfway through me watching it, and she was like, "Oh, you're watching Babe? That's cute, whatever." And then got on her phone, and then I looked over 10 minutes later, and she had put her phone down and was just didn't even notice me looking at it. She was just locked into this movie.
That's the cutest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Rate the film overall 1 to 5.
5 out of 5.
Nice. Oh wow. I went 4. I actually went down from my earlier rating. I had it at 4.5, but I went with a 4 this time around.
I mean 4.5 might be more appropriate. I didn't know we were allowed to do halves, but
you can have anything.
Yeah, that's true. Never mind. Man, I felt weird about giving it a 5, but yeah, it's so good. It's so unique. It's so special. That gives it a lot of points when something it's not perfect, but when something is uniquely itself and it feels completely original while still referencing all these things, all these tropes and concepts, like a Harry Potter does or something, all these like familiar concepts, but making something completely new and original, timeless, that nobody can quite do the same way ever again. I think that adds a lot of points to it. So I give it a 5 out of 5.
Wow. Yeah. No, I love this movie. I think it's great. And I think there's a more obvious one in the best picture race that I think people don't like as much as the other 5 and I think we'll get to that. And I think you and I will talk about that movie.
Okay.
But I want to get back with everybody that's been on this month and talk about their movies and just be like, hey, what do we think? What should have won this year? Or if there's something maybe that should have been nominated.
What have we done so far for the Oscar one? It's Sense and Sensibility.
Sense and Sensibility. Babe. Apollo 13 is next week, so I'm doing that announcing that. Il Postino, the Postman, the Italian film, and then Braveheart.
That's a very diverse category. That's what I like about that. That's interesting.
So
I don't think Babe tops a lot of those movies, but I think I would definitely, if I had to be Babe's lawyer for the Oscar, like Best Picture Oscar, I mean, I think I'd have a lot of things to say that, a lot of good arguments.
I want to know what won for Best Adapted Screenplay that year.
Yeah, because
Braveheart's not maybe it's Apollo 13.
Yeah, well, was that a book first? Maybe it was.
Yeah, it was based on a book, so maybe that's what did it. But impressive the script for Babe, I think.
Yeah. Also, we have like kids movies. We had Lion King 1 last year for like animated, right? And we just have this run of the Disney Renaissance, and then I don't know what Disney releases there were in '95. I'm sure we'll learn as the year goes on, but to like post Lion King to have something entirely different, kind of maybe be King the year after, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I forgot last week we talked about who won Best Adapted Screenplay, and it was Emma Thompson for Sense and Sensibility.
Yeah, also great piece of trivia, right? That she was the only first person to ever win a writing Oscar and an acting Oscar, which is very cool.
That is super cool. Jesse Eisenberg, we'll see if you can do it.
He's trying.
He is trying. Well, thank you so much, Ryan, for doing this movie with me, especially kind of last second I asked you to do this with me. So thank you. I appreciate you every time you're on here. But before we wrap up, I want to hear some of your recent movie recommendations.
Well, Cody, I got to go fast. That's what I always say. No, I'm just kidding. Don't watch the Sonic movies.
Don't watch the Sonic movies.
Unless you're trying to read a book and you need something so bad that it's easy enough to like read 3 pages and then look up and see what's going on.
I want to go fast. Oh my god.
Yeah, I watched a lot of movies after my Oscars. I was watching like a lot of slop like Sonic, Moana 2 and stuff like that, because I was sick of watching heady things. But then I accidentally jumped right back in. We were talking about it a little bit in the Discord. Plug, if anybody out there is not in our Discord, you should check it out. Great movie conversations there. But I watched a ton of Sean Baker films because I watched 5 Sean Baker films, I think. So I'd like to track down the other 2 I haven't seen. But what are they called? The Florida Project, Tangerine, Takeout, Prince of Broadway, and Starlet.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, Anora was great. It was kind of a surprisingly well-made, beautiful film. And the rest of his stuff is even better. Honestly, I predict Sean Baker might have another big hit in him. But when directors come up because they have distinctive styles and takes and like theories about filmmaking, especially his being a little more verite and long talking scenes and stuff like that, they thrive really well on very little budget and time and just ideas and directing. And then they get to the point where they make their Anora, and then somebody's going to give them like the $50 million more than he should have.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be good, but not great.
I felt that a little bit about Anora, and I really enjoyed Anora. It doesn't look anything like the other Sean Baker stuff at all. Like you were saying, like cinema verite kind of thing. Like Tangerine was shot on an iPhone.
There are themes in the plot and the characters that I think are similar, but yeah, they look different. And a lot of his early stuff looks different from Tangerine and Florida Project too.
Yeah. So Tangerine, I really love. It's a great Christmas movie for those that want to watch. I have Red Rocket is one that I want to see.
Yeah, I think there's that one and one other that I haven't seen, and then maybe like an early, very independent film or something. But at that point, I've seen a lot of his filmography, so it always makes you want to push forward. But those were great, and also I love an art film that's not boring, and is a blessed hour 30, hour 40 minutes. And he makes those pretty well. I think Anora was significantly longer, but
I love the actors that he gets too. Like he has that one guy in every film of his, the guy with the birthmark on his face.
Yeah,
that guy's great. I love
that guy. Goes back to like the first film I saw of his. All 3 of the ones I saw in Criterion that were early ones, he's in every single one of those.
And when you get, I don't know, like those are good kind of act. Like you get a good cast of people or a troupe that you work with constantly, then you find those like diamonds in the rough kind of thing. And I feel like that guy's super good. I loved him in Anora. I honestly thought he should have gotten nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah,
maybe the other guy. I love the other guy, the guy that played Igor, but
no, he was kind of the heart of the film. We don't talk long about that film, but it also has that big like mood shift in the middle. And after that, Anora as a character like is kind of one note for a long time. And then he kind of takes over as like the heart of the film. Yeah, but that was all great. And then I've been watching a lot of mid movies. Welcome Home, Roxy Carmichael was kind of interesting. Winona Ryder, Jeff Bridges.
Never even heard of it.
Yeah, it was kind of, but I don't know. It was bad in a really fun way to watch. But rewatching things, we've been rewatching like Ghost and Lawnmower Man. I rewatched
Lawnmower Man.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, I was about to say, does that hold up to anything?
I mean, it was a director's cut too. That shit was like 2 hours and 20 minutes. Incredible. The last one I'll mention, because I do think this is a movie I'd never heard of. I didn't expect much out of, and was surprised at how good it was. I have a lot of problems with how it ended, but it was a movie called Kissing Jessica Stein.
Oh yeah, that's
you know that movie. So it's like a rom-com from like 2001, and it's about 2 women dating, more about bisexuality and like sexual fluidity than it is about lesbianism necessarily. But it actually like felt like, oh my gosh, they're just gonna give us they just gave us a rom-com about 2 women falling in love, and the whole thing wasn't entirely about identity or like crushed oppression or too many stereotypes. Like it's all treated very respectfully and very funny and very sweet. I ended up liking it a lot. Not a perfect film, but it was kind of like a good like diamond in the rough.
Fun fact: Jessica Stein, the girl that plays Jessica Stein, that's John Hamm's ex-wife.
Oh,
they were married for almost 20 years. They got divorced after 18 years. Yeah.
That's great. I didn't know that, but I did remember because I think I blinked and missed it. John Hamm has like a very early role in that movie.
Oh, okay. So it makes sense. Yeah, she wrote the movie too. So.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Yeah. That's good because she was a good actor, but she was maybe the weak link compared to like her supporting cast. But yeah, if she wrote it, that makes sense. It was a really good movie.
That reminds me of one of the movies that's on for that I'm excited to see for our extra credit episode this month is the Incredibly True Story, or the Incredible True Story of Two Girls in Love. I think that's the name of it.
Yeah,
but I think it's on Netflix, but that's one of our extra credit movies this month, and I'm excited to see it. It's supposed to be a rom-com about two girls falling in love. So
yeah, so I mean, I've seen a lot of queer art house cinema from decades ago, and most of it has to be kind of heady and heavy because it's art house. But going back to like the turn of the millennium, when we were starting to put like queer characters more in things and just being more chill about that, we obviously made like a lot of mistakes as a culture doing that in film, and then like it took a while to get some things right, or there was this whole journey with accepting queer people more publicly that we had to go through and are still going through. So like to find a 2001 film and be like, oh, this is about two women dating, let's see how this goes, like, and to find out that it was actually pretty well made, probably because it was written by a woman and not targeted at every person in the universe. So it wasn't In and Out with Kevin Kline.
I kind of like In and Out with Kevin Kline.
In and Out's fine, yeah. It's but it's rom-com slop, right?
Oh yeah.
We're like, hey, but let's get onto this train first and make it about like make being gay a theme of it for like the rom-com slop of the year kind of thing. And that's fine. That's fine as a movie genre or whatever. So I expected Jessica Stein to be a little more like that.
Gay Tom Selleck in and Out though.
Yeah.
Perfection. No mustache Tom Selleck.
Oh my gosh, that was the biggest mistake.
Anything else that you want to mention?
Nothing else. What have you been watching?
Honestly, I haven't watched anything except for I did watch Zombieverse last night.
Okay.
Which is exactly what it is. It's a Tubi classic. It's not great, but it's still great at the same time. But no, the thing that I've been talking about in the Discord is this Pixar animated series. It's like a mini series, 8 parts, called Win or Lose. And Spencer's actually the one that pointed it out to me and said that I should watch it. And then I kind of got addicted to it. All 8 episodes will be out this coming Wednesday, but it is so good on a Pixar level. It talks about, or it's focused on a softball game that all these kids are on, and it tells the same kind of story from 8 different perspectives.
Oh, cool.
And hopefully the last one will tie everybody in together. So there's
Rashomon by Pixar?
Yes, it's very much Rashomon. It's Rashomon. It's this other show on Apple TV called The After Party. They do the similar thing. Ben Schwartz was on that show. His episode. The interesting thing about After Party is they do the same thing, like different perspectives, but every episode is a different genre of like movie style.
Yes, I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So like Ben Schwartz's is a musical episode, and Ike Barinholtz's is an action movie like Speed or Fast and the Furious type of movie. I'd recommend that too. But no, this Win or Lose has had me teared up at least 3 times.
You said they were shorts. Do you just mean that they're shorter than movies?
They're 22-minute episodes.
Okay,
each one is a 22-minute episode. I'm hoping that the last episode is going to be like 45 minutes at least. So
yeah, I gotta see. I think I have a way to see some Disney Plus because I really want to check that out.
Yeah,
I think I've had a way to see Disney Plus and haven't used it because I didn't want to fall down a rabbit hole of it. But that sounds cool enough that I'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's good, and all 8 will be out this coming Wednesday. So honestly, that's the only thing I've watched. I hope to get back on a movie watching kick here soon and get do some 1001s, do some fun ones, and I'll be watching some other ones. But Ryan, thank you so much for your recommendations. Thank you for doing this as always. Like Ryan said, you can get more information by joining our Discord server. You're talking with us over there. I'm not very good at Discord, but hopefully, it's fine. You can follow us on Instagram. You can check out my account on Letterboxd, see some of the reviews and upcoming movies that we're going to be talking about. Sunday, March 16th, we're going to continue this theme of And the Oscars Goes To, where we talk about the 5 films nominated at the 96 Oscars. Next week, we do have a problem because we're talking about Apollo 13. And I had mentioned the extra credit for this month. The theme of that is Who Run the World, where all films are by women, about women, and for women, like the movie Waiting to Exhale, The Incredibly True Adventure of Two Girls in Love, How to Make an American Quilt, and Boys on the Side. So if you want to check out those, we're going to be doing that pod on Wednesday, March 26th at 6 p.m. Also, we've got the new month of 95 music that we've started where we're doing soundtracks. Join us Tuesday for that. This week's album is Waiting to Exhale, which we're going to be talking about. So that's it for us here at 52/1995. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next Sunday.